Sorry, Gina Jones is not available. Record your message at the tone. When you are finished.
Please answer, please answer.
Sorry, Gina Jones is not available. Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound. To send this message, press pound. Sorry, Gina Jones is not available. Record your message at the tone. When you are Sorry, Gina Jones is not available. Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
I need you to call me back, and I need to give you a crash course in autism. You have no idea. Please call me back. It's Sean. Somebody's calling from Florida. Okay, please have enough to take a picture.
By prankdial.com. Download the Prank Dial app and prank call your friends for free. Press 1 and we'll send you the app via SMS. Block your number from receiving future calls from Prank Dial. Press 99. You've been pranked by prankdial.com. To download the Prank Dial app and prank call your friends for free, press 1 and we'll send you the app via SMS. Block your number from receiving future calls from Prank Dial. Press 99.
Gina Jones is not available. Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
I wish you'd call me back. It's Sean. I'm trying to call you back. Please call me back, please. Oh my God. Let me charge. Oh God, I broke it.
Gina Jones is not available. Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Ma'am, I need this stuff to stop. And the first thing I need you to do is try to understand. Please call me back. Please, please call me back. Uh, uh, Please work.
Sorry, Gina Jones is not available. Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Man, the more frustrated that I am, the less my words come together, and it makes it even worse when you make assumptions about what it is that I mean. Instead of doing that, you need to give me a minute to be able to explain. Otherwise, I'm going to get frustrated, and the more you do it, the more frustrated I'm going to get. I need you to call me back and listen. And when I said your rules, I meant the stuff that you were explaining to me, not your rules. God damn it, I can't stand it. I meant the laws that prevent me from being able to show the truth when officers are able to work across multiple jurisdictions to harm me, and I'm only allowed to bring up one jurisdiction at a time, even though they're all involved. I'm not allowed to bring up any of the situations where the cops conspired with my predators to prevent me from having a day in court, to prevent me from being able to speak. Ma'am, I've been through 4 years of abuse and I need someone to look at it. I can't function. That's the thing, ma'am. I need you to call me back. The longer it takes you to call me back, the longer you're going to have that stuck in your head that you got something wrong. And I need to be able to explain to you why it's wrong. See, one little piece of miscommunication and she's off on a fucking tangent. I'm sorry that when I'm frustrated, the words don't come out right.
Hi, you've reached Megan. Leave me a message and I'll call you back. Thanks. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Ma'am, I need you to call Jones with me. She took something wrong, and it's not going to go well for me if I am not able to explain it to her. But she's not answering her phone. Ma'am, I am trying not to freak out. I need some peace and quiet where I can work on this shit. God damn it! I need help to work on it. I don't know how to do this electronic stuff. I need help. I needed help before Natalie died. I need help stopping this. Hello?
Sean,
Yes, ma'am.
this is Sergeant Jones.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for calling back.
Yep.
When I say your rules, I mean the rules set forth by, well, the laws, ma'am. The laws allow a lot of things one way, but not the other. Like police can work together across multiple jurisdictions and send me to other jurisdictions, and I'm not allowed to talk about both jurisdictions or show that they're both working together. When Natalie Bollinger was killed, that made my life hell, ma'am. When I'm frustrated, the more frustrated that I am, the less my words come together. And it might take me a minute to answer a question. It might take me a full minute to process everything that's going on, ma'am. I Meg has 1,800 1,800 photographs that we went through all of my stuff and took pictures of it. I didn't take those pictures. They were taken by a guy named Juan Santana because he knows better how to do that stuff. There's a lady named Laura Nelson. She has a business here. She's also got a son who's autistic. She was aware of a lot of the stuff that was going on, but she was too afraid to speak up. Now the thing is that she should have spoke up. Ma'am, I needed a safe place. And as long as I'm targeted by the public over this slander, there is no safe place. When I was up at low income, there was a lot of issues up there with my safety, and the police wouldn't address any of them. I literally had to break the law to try to get the cops to do something. I don't want to do that. I would rather go to you. I would rather go to a law enforcement officer who is actually going to help. The problem is that this is across multiple jurisdictions and you can't steal the evidence. I needed help making copies so I could send them out. I'm not a technologically savvy person. And you know what? I am tired of calling people to try to get help because I can't get the help I need. Meg is not here in person. If she was here in person, I wouldn't have had a meltdown last month over my safety issues, and nobody ever. God, I hate that sound.
Are you still there, Sean?
Yes, ma'am. Sound.
I'm just trying to be quiet and let you talk.
Yes, ma'am. Sound. Did you not hear that sound?
Yes.
That stops me from being able to do what it is that I'm doing, and I have to start over. But before I can do anything with you, I need to. Is there any way that you can watch just 2 videos on autism?
Sure.
Is there a 1 moment? I'm gonna. This would be a lot easier if Meg was on the phone with us. These people are doing this place for right now, work on that stuff, but they have to work on their own stuff. They just say we're regulated. They're working on construction. Most places that I've been, most of the places that I've been, it's not construction. It's movies about killing, and people are into such sick stuff. I've seen a lot of dead people. I don't want to watch movies about dead people. Um, there's a lady named Laura Nelson. She's got a store here in Chapel named Nettie's Treasures. She was a friend who helped me to set up the trip to Virginia to go see Natalie. She was the one that helped me to get there. There was a lot of stuff that happened there, but Laura knows the truth about a lot of it, and she needs to have a safe way to speak to. I don't want to put her on Facebook or put her on blast or put. I didn't want to do that with anyone, but I was constantly moving and didn't have a safe place. When I had that panic attack up there at low income, it's because I was still being threatened, and nobody gets that. It's all because I wasn't allowed to defend myself, and people seem to think that a public pretender is the same as a real lawyer, and they're not. Someone needs to take a look at this stuff, at all the things that the Bollingers did, not just their side, because I wasn't allowed in court. But I'm going to give you Laura's number. It's to Nettie's Treasures. And okay, uh, is there an email address where I can send them? Okay, yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And when I'm in a crisis, it really scares people. And I'm not a violent person, so I never get violent. Like people have to actually harm me or force drugs into me. And when those drugs are in me, my brain doesn't work right. I'm not me anymore. But they keep putting those drugs in me because I'm in a state of panic. And I'm in a state of panic with the things that are actually happening. And they keep trying to use the term mentally ill to loosely affiliate me with schizophrenics and people like that. And I'm not. But because of that, nobody would look at the evidence. And that was right after Natalie died. And it, anyway, there was a car that I got from David and Laura. It was, it had some problems, and they took me trying to explain that those problems existed in Virginia, and my car was broken there. They they seemed to think that they were gonna get in trouble, or I was calling them a bad person, and I wasn't. That car was broken, and there's a lot of stuff that happened, and I shouldn't have had to make her name public. She should have been able to go in with me, but after Natalie died, I was assaulted by Wendell and Lola Ty, and I couldn't go back to Nebraska. My car didn't work. Ma'am, I used to save lives. I just want a safe place, ma'am, and to be left alone, and I can't do that because I can't defend myself. If I could defend myself, then I wouldn't have had to go through this, ma'am. I'm not allowed to defend myself in court. I shouldn't have to break the law. I don't want to break the law. I just want to live in peace and be left alone. And that has not happened in over 4 years. I'm overwhelmed, ma'am, and that is a lot different than wanting to hurt people. All the people that threatened my life and got away with it. The thing is, this happened across multiple jurisdictions in multiple states. I can't get help stopping these predators. I have to be afraid to try to turn them in no matter what. Nobody can investigate anything from other states. But then again, like no matter what, if people do it to me, then it's all right. But they'll do stuff for other people that they tell me that they can't do. I don't get that, ma'am. How can the rules be different for me than they are for others? That wasn't a rhetorical question. I'm sorry.
Yes, so they should not be different for you than they are for anybody else.
I agree, but they have been. Like they keep telling me that I can't turn in my predators unless I turn it in that jurisdiction, and then I have to travel to that jurisdiction to do it. Or when I try to turn in an officer, I have to talk to their supervisor first. That is not right because that allows their supervisor and them to manufacture a lie or destroy evidence, and that's not okay. But Laura, She has to be afraid for her son because he's autistic. And this is a small town, so she has to worry about reputation. Well, I don't care about reputation because people are dead. Either tell the truth or I'll tell the truth. That's as simple as it is. Natalie's not the only person who died over this. I tried to turn in Clearview right after I was assaulted there. Nobody listened to me, and as a result, they killed a man doing what it is that they did to me. They're closed down now. And Officer Whale in Lolatai, he was let go of the Denver Police Department for assaulting an inmate. He should have never been allowed to be a police officer again. He assaulted me in January of 2018, right after Natalie died, because he assumed I was guilty. I had my name painted all over the news, and I've been in a constant state of panic ever since. I have lost every friend that I have, ma'am. You'd think out of everybody that I know that one person would have gone in with me before Natalie died. Yes, ma'am.
I hate to cut you short, but I have other people waiting out here to talk to me.
Okay, well, can I give you Laura's number? It's 308-874-6263. Will you call her? Thank you.
I have to take care of these other people first, but I'm going to need to take care of some other stuff. We will discuss the rest of this with you on Thursday, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right.
Bye. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I need to get back. Then I worry about what this is like for people who have to deal with it. Uh, uh, I shouldn't have to deal with I shouldn't have to deal with this. I just don't want me to freeze to death. I don't want to be here because I don't want them to have to deal with it. Their fault.
Are you ready to quit tobacco? Wyoming Quit Tobacco triples your chances. In Star Trek, phasers are an extremely common energy weapon found on virtually all Federation starships and a number of alien ones as well. As an audience, we've become used to their ubiquitous presence on the show. See, we all know that in the original series, phasers were blue, and then by the films, phasers were red, and by the next generation, phasers were an orangish color, which stuck through the rest of the show, and no doubt influenced the color of Enterprise's phase cannons, which have a similar, if not slightly redder hue. Red and orange are pretty similar, but blue is a pretty big outlier, which suggests that the technology is different during the time period of the original series. Maybe they got blue phasers from the Andorians during this time. But you see, the phasers in the original series aren't blue, at least not exclusively by a long shot, and that is not in the remastered versions, which retconned all the phasers in the show to be blue for some reason. And it's interesting how fast rewriting history can play with our minds and make us forget that in the original show, the phasers were a multitude of colors, the most common being red and blue. But we also see pink, orange, and even green. Now, with the shipboard phasers, there's not much of a discernible pattern to colors, but with hand phasers, there kind of is sometimes. And it's important to recognize that the remastered versions don't seem to tamper with the color of hand phasers. We still see plenty of reds in that category. In both Operation Annihilate and Return of the Archons, stun settings appear blue, while kill settings appear red. But other times, this pattern doesn't exist. In the Omega Glory, a blue beam can vaporize a human, and in Spock's brain and a piece of the action, the stun settings appear green. So it seems like there isn't much of a correlation between those classic iconic settings and beam color. Now, blue and red beams appear at a pretty similar rate through the show, and as we discussed, not usually in a particularly discernible pattern. So if we take the original visual effects to be canon, it's somewhat confusing. But the next generation already gave us an answer to variable beam colors. We see this on display in Best of Both Worlds, where the Enterprise fires on a Borg cube with rotating phaser frequencies. And we see multiple colors firing from the same phaser bank. I would assume that All of these beams are equally powerful despite being different colors, and that makes me pretty comfortable in saying that the blue and red beams in the original series could be equally lethal or equally non-lethal. Different colors of phaser beams simply suggest different conditions or maybe different target shield frequencies, or Starfleet has simply found a frequency that works in a majority of scenarios, meaning we don't see the variety of colors from the past. But the whole system of eras and corresponding phaser colors simply doesn't hold up. Red phasers were not introduced in Wrath of Khan. Orange phasers weren't introduced in The Next Generation. Honestly, pretty much every basic convention of phasers was already established in the original series. Pulse phasers? We got them in Season 1. Wide beam settings? That was also Season 1. We've just forgotten that the original series pretty much had it all, and its multicolored phasers aren't as much of an anomaly as once thought. I think in general, the original series doesn't really get the respect that it deserves. It's usually seen retroactively as an outlier to the more standardized world of The Next Generation, DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise. But the original series started it all, and most of the things that we love about Star Trek started there. If you want to see more of my love for the original series, I have a few other videos on the topic, such as the view screen technology in the show and the design of the original Enterprise, so feel free to check those videos out. To the rest of you, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Heavenly shades of night are calling. Wonder and vision.
I was looking at this little model that I have of the Enterprise, and I realized something. This ship looks good from every angle, and it really shouldn't. Should it? This ship is a pretty counterintuitive mishmash of shapes. Cylinders, domes. Actually, there is a pretty coherent visual language to this ship, but it's still a weird design. I think we can all agree on that. No ship looks like this, except for other Star Trek ships. And somehow, after 50 years, the USS Enterprise still stands as this magnificent icon and still strikes a bold profile. It's an incredibly effective design, and there might be a million reasons why. It has a tall, powerful, almost lifelike posture, holding itself up like a classical sculpture of Atlas or the discus thrower. Its sharp angles evoke power, while its gentle curves evoke a sense of futuristic, fluid aeronautics. But this is all really conceptual, theoretical stuff, and it doesn't really explain why the ship looks good from any viewing angle. And I thought about it for a little bit, and something struck me. I do a lot of art and photography and filmmaking, and a common rule that governs a lot of composition is the rule of thirds. If you break down a frame into 9 equal rectangles and you position points of interest on those lines and intersections, you tend to get favorable compositions. Most cameras even have these grid lines built in. And when I thought about the Enterprise in terms of thirds, I realized that this shape is perfect for shooting in thirds. From the front, well, we can set the registry on the top third and the nacelles on the left and the right thirds, and the secondary hull on the bottom third. And now we've filled the entire frame with Enterprise in an almost necessarily attractive way. From the side, those alignments still work well. And this doesn't just work for orthographic views of the ship. Let's get a classic 3/4 view from below. Beautiful. From behind, great. It's almost like this ship was specifically designed to be photographed. Interesting. Now, things aren't perfect, but they're really close, and definitely close enough to trigger those subconscious aesthetic preferences that appear to inform concepts like the rule of thirds. Now, I was curious if other people had noticed this sort of thing, and I immediately came across an article by Gary Meisner on goldennumber.net, which applied the golden ratio to the Enterprise to some pretty interesting results. Now, the golden ratio is an irrational number near 1.618, and it's represented by the Greek letter phi. It has a lot of applications, but it's commonly regarded as having special aesthetic properties, similar to the rule of thirds when it's expressed as a grid. Now, it's not without controversy or discussion, though. It depends on how far you're willing to take the concept, but applying a phi grid to the orthos of the Enterprise gets some interesting results. I was particularly interested in the details on the saucer. When you line up a phi grid top to bottom on the Enterprise, the top edge of the saucer, the slope of the saucer, and the two-tiered structure of the bridge blister are pretty close to golden ratio proportions. And if you take the width of the secondary hull and iterate the golden ratio outwards, that is dividing its width by 1.618, and placing a line at that distance, the nacelles are set pretty close to that line, and the width of the nacelles are fairly close to 2 more iterations of the golden ratio. Again, none of this stuff is exactly perfect, but the Enterprise still comes really close to adhering to major design principles that govern proportions and compositional balance. And this might be a key factor in the timelessness of the design and why it so effortlessly looks as good as it does and from as many angles as it does. But those are just a few random thoughts. Do you have your own ideas? I'd love to hear them. And if the design doesn't work for you, I'd like to hear why. If you like videos like this, make sure to subscribe for more. And if you want to support the channel, there's no better way to do that than through my Patreon. So give that a look if you're interested. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
This is the checkers game where grandson and granddad will bond. This is the pool where cannonball records will be broken. And this is the kitchen where the new boyfriend will unofficially become dad. These are the verbal vacations for you to fill with your family. You're together.
Hello, space friends. What you're seeing here is a version of the Enterprise that I would have liked to see on modern television, perhaps in Star Trek Discovery. I created this model to demonstrate how the original Enterprise design never really needed to be changed that much to appear glorious. Enhanced and augmented, yes, but radically changed, no. In this video, I'll justify my thinking as I show you how I enhanced the ship using 3D software. The original Enterprise has been changed many times. The very first Starship Enterprise from the pilot episode The Cage was changed soon after for the next pilot for the TV show, Where No Man Has Gone Before, and then once more when the original series hit its stride. These were very minor changes to the bridge, the running beacons, back of the nacelles, and the dish size. These are things that most fans would hardly ever notice. Of course, it did receive a major visual overhaul, an upgrade for the first movie in 1979, Star Trek The Motion Picture, which remains today one of the favorite versions among hardcore Trek fans. In the Star Trek 2009 movie, the design of the Enterprise saw a major departure from the original, or even the motion picture version. Most Trek fanatics didn't really approve of what seemed like an arbitrary change to an already perfect design. And although I myself don't dislike the 2009 version, I also believe this change was unnecessarily extravagant. Besides, it's still not as good as the original. And then in 2018, the Enterprise shows up again in the Star Trek Discovery series. And yes, it's a little bit closer to the original, but it isn't the original. The colors are much darker, the proportions are different, the bridge has a window, the warp nacelle pylons are swept back like in the motion picture, even though this show takes place about 25 years before the motion picture, among several other differences. Now again, just like the 2009 version, I don't dislike this Discovery version of the Enterprise. In fact, I really applaud the artists, for these changes are often by the command of their bosses and producers, but these seemingly arbitrary changes break the immersion in the universe for hardcore fans and Starship connoisseurs like myself. Now, of course, let's be realistic. If the Enterprise is to appear in several scenes for modern television, and it does, A 1960s version just wouldn't look right while flying next to the Discovery. I get that. However, the original Enterprise can be enhanced and augmented in a way to compete with minimum changes, and that is exactly what I've done here with this 3D model. Now, I'm not the first to do this. There were many great concepts even before the Star Trek 2009 movie was released that didn't have these radical departures from the original version. You can do this in a way to imply that most of these visual enhancements were always there. It's just that the film quality of the 1960s never really allowed you to see it. Now, this is a very fast breakdown of this redesign, not a 3D modeling tutorial. First of all, I'm using Blender 3D for all my modeling and shaders. It's free, and it can now do just about all the things an expensive studio quality 3D program can do. I had this old Constitution-class starship model collecting dust as a digital asset in my hard drive. I had used it before in my Balance of Terror Battle Breakdown video, Enterprise Size video, and the 4 Years War videos. It was a relatively simple model with lower quality shaders, so I selected this as the foundation to work from. We'll start with the saucer. I made a few tweaks to make the thickness of my saucer more like the original, added a little bump texturing to the edges, but of course the biggest enhancement is a specular hull plating, or Aztecing, a technique devised and still done best for Star Trek the Motion Picture. This plating can't just be thrown up onto your texture any which way for the best effect. To look truly awesome, taking the time to place each plate element strategically and artfully will always yield the best results. The lower dome in the original was just a big glowing dome. However, it always bothered me that in the original version, the phasers and photon torpedoes seemed to come from this. So instead, I modeled an assembly that had plates for phasers and torpedo tubes. I would add these phaser emitters a little later. I also more dynamically lit the sensor dome, which would also be the source for floodlighting that would light up the NCC numbers on the saucer. For the upper decks below the bridge, I also added these phaser plates. I then skipped the bridge and set about devising how to do the Bussard ram scoops on the warp nacelles. Mine were primitive compared to the truly amazing effect on the original Enterprise. To achieve this, I made the dome caps translucent and made a rotating impeller with a lot of lights behind it. I would later spin this in a looping animation. Initial tests were kind of off, so I simply added a counter-rotating impeller in there, and this gave me a pretty close imitation of the original effect. Oh yes, these ram scoops have the antennas on them added, like the original pilot version of the Enterprise. A fan commented that he wanted them in one of the work-in-progress shots, so I added them. Much like the lower sensor dome, the bridge was slightly altered to show some more detailed lighting. I made little ball turrets for the phaser similar to the ones on the Motion Picture Enterprise and installed them in pairs on the 6 platforms I had made around the upper decks and lower dome. I then rebuilt the back of the nacelle, eliminating the balls in the back. I'm partial to the grilled holes look of the pilot version, and I could make those light up. I added a great deal more texture detail to the nacelles and added a glow effect on the inner nacelle. This is in keeping with the idea of an energy field that passes between the warp nacelles that work in pairs. You know, as if it was always there in the original, you just never got to see it actually lit up. I also set up a little bit of illumination for the NCC numbers on the nacelles. Now, these fins on the nacelles are intercooling units. I added more detail by building sort of vents on each of them. These vents have a bit of the subtle red glowy things, as if they're venting heat and red hot. Then I set to the arduous task of fixing several modeling errors on the lower hull. After this was fixed, I added Aztec plating to the whole damn thing. Now, in other 3D programs, I had floodlighting for the ship's text down, but for Blender, through arduous trial and error, I figured out the right settings for the floodlights that would illuminate the name and NCC numbers on the hull, which are mostly attached spotlights. Now, a couple of notes. There are features between the pilot versions and the series versions that I have both liked and disliked. As you can see, I went with this version of the Impulse Drive, the pilot version.
I'm coming. Let me plug my phone in. Uh, I'm coming. Oh, you got no idea, buddy. Sorry, I'm just trying to find my cigarette. Where the hell are my fucking cigarettes? Where there?
I'm not sure which pilot. This is perhaps an earlier model impulse drive with 7 individual thrust nozzles. It's not something we've seen in modern Trek, so I went with that. The pilot version also had a larger dish, which I just couldn't stomach. Creative liberty here, I really prefer the smaller dish. Also on the dish, I added a little bit more glow lighting and a little bit more bump texture. Also, I almost forgot on the main hull, there's these glowy lights around the edge of the dish area. Not too much or so much to make it like the motion picture version, just enough. The pilot version also had 2 darker strips on the top of the saucer, which I threw out. I prefer mostly a clean and uniform color for the saucer. Sometimes less is more. It also had more pinstripes, so I kept some of those. And one thing about the navigation and running lights, which the Discovery version had none when it first appeared, is that they give the ship a little bit more life, not unlike a heartbeat. I put some kind of nav lights on almost all of the ships I model. On both the pilot and series versions, there are 2 pairs of nav beacons on the top of the saucer, one large and one small, green to starboard, and one large and one small, red to port. I really prefer just one light to port and one to starboard. Thanks to a fan comment on the preview shots, I followed the nautical and aerial navigation standards. The red to port, starboard to green, and white to aft lights are all solid. Blinking collision lights on the top and the bottom, and finally, white strobe lights on the nacelles. I believe I will have a version of this model in Sketchfab by the time this video releases, if you want to interact with the model yourself, which will be linked in the description below. I will also have full-size still shots on this image at the website, resurrectedstarships.com, also linked in the description. There you can find all my Starship videos with images and stats in an organized, consumable format. I plan to use this model for my next video, which will outline the rules for designing a Starfleet ship. Oh yes, there are rules for designing Starfleet ships, originally laid out by Gene Roddenberry himself and crystallized by Andrew Probert. Of course, they are broken regularly, but this is world building. The discipline to create within a stylistic structure often yields the best results. Also, I regularly post early access videos or full-size progress images for patrons who support this channel at patreon.com/resurrected. Click it in the description. Patreon support helps me to spend more time creating higher quality videos rather than simple.
People suck, dude. Shit, I left the live stream. I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't trying to ignore you. Definitely or no tight. Oh God, John, I'm so sorry you feel like this. No, this is how I should feel. Hey, it's gonna be okay. Everything's okay. No, no, it's not. No, it's not. There's a difference between losing a friend and hurting and losing everyone at once. Random dude that exists typed what's happening. I don't have any idea to just try to noise. Fucking trains going by. Second, typed everything alright. Sending love and peace. Random dude that exists, type same. Second, typed I wish there was something I could do. You can speak out. Said who? Osiris typed I'm getting gang stalked. Then he typed what's up dude. Then he typed I believe in the hollow earth. Then he typed ever do psychedelics man. Then he typed am I blocked. Then he typed I smoke rollies, they are making me gag. LMAO. Then he typed Newport rides my fab. And hope you're alright dude. Hard to hear you. I'm sorry, dude. I had to defragment a little bit. I watched some Star Trek videos. I really like the original series Enterprise. Had Jack one type just joining. Are you okay? I'm not okay. When you make somebody out to be a boogeyman, you make them a target for the rest of their lives. There's a lot of complete strangers that completely forgot about it. But the scream's so loud right now. I got no idea. Jesus fucking Christ. Osiris type, hope you feel better if you're being bothered on social media. I would just stay off, dude. I'm on social media because I'm trying to show the truth. I have to deal with this in real life. You really think that a bunch of fucking people on the internet are my problem? Do you really think that people on the internet are my problem? The situation with Natalie wasn't the fucking internet harassment that was the issue. It was people in real life. I get on here and try to get help. Fuck, that's not working. Shit. I broke the other one. Not on purpose. I don't know how it broke, but it's not working. I bent the thing. I must have stepped on it or something. My predators all got away with it because I couldn't get anyone to fucking listen. Miss Peaches was too busy fucking talking. Ventus just couldn't get it through his fucking head. I need Star's help. Stop trying to fuck her and let her help me. What do I need, Osiris? I need a safe place and someone to actually fucking help. There's a lot of shit to go through. I can't fucking handle this shit. Damn it. I fucking broke this one already.
Dual County Sheriff's Office?
And Leslie, it's Sean.
Yes.
Is Deputy Holloway in?
He's not, but I can reach him and have him contact you.
Yes, ma'am. This is my new phone number.
I don't have caller ID. You're gonna have to give it to me. I'm so sorry.
Oh, all right. I got it written down on a piece of paper. It's almost dead, but I got it written down on a piece of paper. It's Jesus fuck. Oh my God. I don't think cold weather is doing me any good. Hey, Reggie.
Hello.
Hello?
Hey, Sean, it's Deputy Holloway. I was told to give you a call.
Yes, sir. I wanted to make sure you had my new number. Did you go and arrest Robert yet?
I have not. He wasn't around yesterday. I'm gonna have the night deputy see if he's home, and then I'll go talk to him tonight.
Thank you, sir.
But yep. So I'll get this number to my report, so I have it at least documented. So I'll be able to go back, and I'll save it to my phone too.
Yes, sir. I'm trying real hard not to have a meltdown. I'm
Okay. You somewhere out of the weather right now, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to make sure at least you had a roof and some walls around you, just because I don't know how tonight's gonna go.
I don't either.
So,
Sir, I just needed somebody to give a shit enough that I could go in and make a report about all of this stuff every step of the way.
yeah.
glad you had Pastor come or was there and working on tracking them down. So I'll go with the nice people tonight and see if they can swing by. Tell them I'm looking for them so I can go talk to them, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, sir.
You have any other questions for me?
I need a safe place, sir. I needed help in person. Nobody understood that. Like, when you make somebody out to be a monster, you make them a target. You got my number, though. That's a good start. I don't know how much it's going to cost to replace the screen on my phone.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to have to do, though. I don't. Do you know if there's anywhere around here that does that?
I could ask around and give you a call back with that information. I do not, off the top of my head. I would assume like a Verizon or Vero store might be able to, or they might be able to point you in the right direction. But I could definitely ask around, do some research, and find out for you.
Yes, sir. Sir, I need to be able to clear my name of this monster status, or I need to be put somewhere where people won't be afraid of me because I'm tired of them hurting me.
So I get it, Sean, and we're gonna take care of this assault case. So at least that's one, and we'll go from there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'll get in contact with HHS again and have them reach out to you again and see what they can do, especially with the weather turning like this. See if they can at least get you somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Somewhere you feel safe, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Sean, take it easy, okay? It's going to take some time to get this assault case done. I'm looking to at least have it in the next couple days, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. $2. Walker. That's not my dog. A second thought, Osiris, it's not a matter of a phone. I have another phone, and I was able to figure out the PayPal wallet and get it going, so it works. I need my old phone because it's got all my phone numbers in it. It's got a lot of evidence in it, and I got to get the screen replaced. It's all broke to shit. This has got the assault in it. It's in this phone. I can't get in it. It's The whole thing is all broke to shit. Wait a second. Are these the same size? No. This is a Motorola and this is a TCL. Osiris, type link your PayPal, dude. If I get some money on the first, I'll send you something. I get paid on the first. It's I get disability money. I don't know how much it's gonna cost, but I need this phone. The problem is that with all of this stuff, it costs so much money. Being painted as a monster, people they're mean, and they don't like it when I'm mean back. I do get mean back. I get real mean back. Also, I'm not nice to people who tell me they love me anymore. I used to be, but they showed me they don't. People don't like it when I treat them the way they treat me. Of course, all these people who can throw me away like I'm trash, they all have family, not just family, it's immediate family. Laura Nelson's got her son and her husband. Peaches has her boys. Raja. I didn't know how to do any of this electronic stuff, and I didn't have a place to do it, and then it all got piled up. I had to break the law to get people to hopefully take a look, because they'd already decided my guilt. No public pretender would do a goddamn thing. Nobody should have to go through this. Between taking a look at the evidence and judging me, people just judge. I had to do desperate shit to try to stop the bullshit that Natalie and Alicia Bollinger started by lying. The only reason Natalie got her protection order is because I couldn't go to court. I didn't even know I had a court date. If I'd have been allowed to go to my court dates, I could have shown what these people did to me. But cops wouldn't listen to me. I had to break the law. They'd say you write a written report and we'll do something, and then they call me from restricted numbers. Guess who else calls me from restricted numbers? My predators. How the hell am I supposed to tell a cop from somebody who's fucking threatening to kill me? How am I supposed to tell a cop from somebody who's calling to harass me when they all have the same fucking number? Restricted. Snowing outside. The guy who's staying here and running the spa, he left. I don't want to post anymore on YouTube. I don't. I never did. I didn't want to post on Facebook either. I just wanted it to stop. 4 years of this. No matter what, there's all sorts of excuses why they can't investigate. At least this one's. Fuck. Go do some reading. I tried connecting it to a computer, Osiris. Link your PayPal. Oh yeah. Sekuth Osiris typed. I'm very antisocial, have no friends, kind of autistic. I'm autistic too, dude. He said, I'm good with electronics. The info is still on the phone. All you need to do is connect it to a computer. No, you're wrong, dude. I've connected it to the computer. In order to get the information off of it, I have to unlock it. He typed, you need a gun and text-free number. I can't have a gun. I'm not allowed. It doesn't stop me. I got an AR-15. It's a BB gun. Sekuth Osiris typed, I can root it. I could break into the phone. Any agency could as well. Apparently it's snowing in Pennsylvania. He thinks I'll get the charges dropped. No, they won't, dude. He types any agency could as well. Dude, I'm in western Nebraska in a town of 500. No ability to travel. I mean, I PayPal. Um, I have a PayPal. I'm looking for it. Elizabeth Foster, she sends me $20 a week. Here's my PayPal. Okay, it's taking me to you. Fuck. Yeah, telling me things will work out. People like to say things like that. How the fuck do you know it's gonna work out? It hasn't yet. So far, they've made every excuse. I had to deal with a lot of fucking wing nuts. And I'm sorry, I have panic attacks. If you guys, if I could show you everything all at once, your fucking head would explode. Kuth typed, I'm on SSI and live with my grandma at 26. I'm glad you have family, dude. I gotta got us down to 2%. Kutha Tires typed, sorry, it's best to have a positive outlook. Thanks, brother. Lost my brother. Drug overdoses. Fentanyl. I lost a lot of friends that way. If my little brother died, I'd feel bad. If my little sister died, I'd feel bad. But no matter what, the cops didn't look at it. I need help stopping all this. I was able to, I had to buy another phone last month because my phone was full of evidence and I couldn't figure out how to clear it out. I'm not a technological dude, you know? If somebody tries to hurt me, I can throw these at them. It's a piece of plastic. The cops knew exactly what they were doing when they assaulted me. Hey, Walter. Good boy. Let me plug this in and I'll give you some weapons, okay? Osiris type. If I have any money left over, I will definitely try to help dude, if you're living on a fixed income, I grew up tinkering with stuff, just never put it to good use as far as a career. Sometimes I feel more empathy for animals than people. I feel bad for all of you. I'm going to go give the dog attention. I'm sorry.